After it was stalled in Congress for several years, the medical marijuana bill has been refiled at the House of Representatives. Is it high time for the country to legalize medical use of marijuana? Good evening. I'm Ruth Cabal. This is On the Record. Our guests for this episode, Isabela Representative Antonio Tonipet Albano, author of the Medical Marijuana Bill, Dr. Donabel Trias Cunanan, founding member of the Philippine Cannabis Compassion Society, and Dr. Anthony Leachon, past president of the Philippine College of Physicians. Welcome to On the Record. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Congressman, I'd like to start with you. Kasi
Yes.
nung 17th Congress, this was passed by the House of Representatives.
That's
Kaya lang
true.
hindi siya umusad sa Senate. You're refiling it now. Why?
Yeah, because of the same reason, and you have the picture here that says it all. She has no voice right now, and she's Wonder Woman Julia. She suffers from epilepsy, and the mother is Dr. Donabel. And we need this kind of medications because to her knowledge and through her experience alone, she will be able to say is that this medicine that is derived from cannabis, hindi lang marijuana because there's different types of hemp and others for cannabis, is highly effective in the treatment of seizures, epilepsy. Hindi lang yon. There's so many other patients that need this, cancer patients, Alzheimer's. We need this medical compassionate bill so that we legalize the medical component of this cannabis. Anyway, kagaya nga po na sinasabi ko, morphine, barbiturates, and others are derived from opium, which is more highly addictive. So bakit natin, kung ganun mangyayari, magbawal na rin natin yung Tylenol with codeine, Robitussin with codeine, and so we need to educate the people and take away the fear and stigma that the medical cannabis is a bad bill for the health of Filipinos.
Pinapakita nyo na si Dr. Donna and the daughter of Dr. Donna. Kayo po, why are you in favor of, well, obviously, can you just explain to us bakit po kayo in favor of that?
Yes, because we are from the Philippine Cannabis Compassion Society. Basically, we are patients' organization, and we highly advocate for medical cannabis that is affordable, safe, and accessible to the legitimate patients. I have a daughter, she's 7 years old right now, and she started to have seizures as young as 3 months old. We have tried around 7 anti-epileptic drugs, and up to this day, none of these drugs are really completely helping her to have seizure-free. So it's a high time for medical marijuana to be available, not just for my daughter.
Bakit po ba nag-work po ba yun? Paano po siya nag-work compared to the other existing medicines? Yung sinabi nyo nga na ibang epileptic drugs.
Yes, because medical marijuana has a very effective component like CBD and THC. CBD is very good for patients like my daughter Julia for epileptic seizures and also to alleviate the pain of cancer patients. We have around 350,000 epileptic patients based on the Department of Health. So can you imagine if we legalize this bill, we can help around 350,000 epileptic patients, around 200,000 cancer patients, and yearly tumataas pa siya, no, Ms. Ruth, and those suffering from multiple sclerosis, chronic pain, autism, and many more.
Doc, ito pinapakita namin yung ingredients ng marijuana, di ba? Parang sinasabi, can you explain, well, as a doctor, no? Can you explain ano ba yung mga ganyan na sinasabi, hindi naman daw addictive yung buong plant or, yeah, can you tell us about it?
Marijuana kasi as a plant, we need marijuana as a whole plant because as a plant, it has what we call the entourage effect. So you cannot just derive one component from the whole plant because it was actually very, very beneficial as a whole plant. So the THC, like what you have seen on the screen, is a component of medical marijuana or marijuana who has a psychoactive component. But it's not all
And it
bad.
relieves anxiety, ha?
Yes,
THC
yes.
yan, THC. And then,
Yes, and it's not all bad because once you have to use it in moderation, it can very, very good to help those patients suffering from mental illnesses.
Okay,
THC.
tanong naman natin si Doc Liachon kasi the Philippine Medical Association has consistently been against legalizing medical marijuana. I did a report on this before. Ang sinasabi kasi nila, wala pa daw talagang conclusive evidence to show that it works. But we have patients using it, no? Doc, ano bang stand nyo?
Well, there's a coalition yung, against the medical marijuana, basically on the context of the number one is actually regulatory. So let me explain that. No, a drug kasi when it is marketed, the same medical, is course to the FDA to evaluate efficacy and safety of the medication. Though we understand compassion being a doctor, but the first mantra or dictum of a physician is first do no harm. So in Latin, primum non nocere. So therefore, all compounds should actually go to the FDA to evaluate efficacy and safety. Now, if it is a law, the problem is the law, science is very dynamic. Sometimes in the long run, a drug may actually pulled out in the market, not because of the lack of efficacy, but for safety reasons. One of the important examples are the following. Vioxx, it was a drug marketed by MSD for arthritis and then found to kill people because of cardiovascular events. One drug is Lipobay for cholesterol and then it's pulled out because of liver and muscle damage. So therefore, the FDA has the right to pull it out. Now, if it is already a law, what will happen in the infrastructure? So sa akin ang context is to the regulatory, which is the
Kasi
FDA.
nga ngayon, it's considered dangerous drug.
Correct.
Diba?
So kaya regulatory muna siya. You have to cross two barriers. The first one is to remove this as a dangerous drug muna.
Yeah.
And then later on, as medical marijuana for its indication and safety. The other one is to quote Senator Soto. There's already a law in the Dangerous Act of 2002, yung compassionate use. Laging sinasabi to ni Senator Soto nakausap namin din siya. Ang sabi niya ganito, when a drug is needed by a patient, particularly say the kid of Doctora here, what we will do, the doctor and the society will request for the drug from a country marketing it. For example, Canada.
Where it is allowed, no? Oo.
So, US and then Canada. Canada, ka-birthday ko pa nung July 30, 2018 when it's medical marijuana. And then Thailand lately. So, meron na.
Yeah.
Now, of course, every country has different regulatory guidelines. No? So, ang point dito ni Senator Soto, it might be redundant considering kung compassion siya, may law na siya dito. So, yun ang
Na pwedeng
ano niya.
kumuha ng special permit to import.
To import it.
Okay, but that's for the process.
Yes, for treatment.
Yeah, of the process.
Of the drug approved in another country for a certain indication. Now, ang second contention ni Senator Soto is about the dangerous drug kasi kailangan i-revise mo siya.
Yeah.
Ang author nun, siya, RA 9165. So, you have, ako naman na-convinced na nila na we're open to it. That's why in the Congress na-approvean na siya, na January, no?
Yeah.
But in the Senate, we are continue to be resource person of Senator Soto, who's the Senate President right now. So,
Right.
I'm just echoing right now kung ano yung
Sentiments, yeah.
sentiments niya, tsaka yung regulatory
Yeah.
concerns
Pero
niya.
kung under your bill, ano bang allowed? What kind of
Let
drugs?
me just rebut
Okay.
Ruth. First, the law is also dynamic. So if magbawal ito and FDA and the United States, Federal Drug and lahat says that these drugs are bad, syempre, the law will also react and become dynamic like what you've said. So, false na ho yung first premise nyo na pag naging legalized na ito, mawawalan na siya ng substansya, yung sinasabi nyo at nagkakaroon ng permit ang lahat para magdala. Let me answer first na itong bill, importante ito dahil sa nangyari, and you said Canada, there is an instance where in one of the states in the United States, 2 patients went to Canada for treatment. Biro mo, kung wala kang pera, hindi ka makakapunta sa Canada for the treatment. And it was highly effective for them. Now they went back to the United States and they confiscated all those drugs, the CBD oil, the THC oil, dun sa customs. At biro mo, muntik na matay yung patient. And this was highly publicized in the United States, so as much that the FDA issued a special permit.
To
Pero
allow
kung
them
ano
to use
nangyari
it.
kung namatay, kung hihintayin po natin, doktor, yung sinasabi nyo na papayagan ng FDA, alam nyo naman kung gaano katagal yung red tape kung minsan ng FDA, namatay na ho yung pasyente. Sino kung sasagot?
Tsaka, I was always also able to do a special report. Ang sinasabi nga ng FDA, sa lahat ng years, they only had one application for cannabis oil kasi ang daming
So,
ayaw
compassionate
mag-apply
I applied.
because it's hard. Oh, can you tell us about the process?
Yeah, personally, I applied for the compassionate special permit.
Yeah.
Well, initially, we can use that. We can use that profession that we can access or import cannabis. But the problem with that is it's not affordable. PCCS is primarily advocating for an affordable medical
Anong
cannabis
klase po ang
extract.
pwedeng, ang
As
gusto
of
nyo?
today, the only product, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Liachon, the only product that is FDA approved is Epichulex for medical marijuana, and Epichulex will cost around $32,000 US. If
Per
we're
month or per-
per year? So
Okay.
if we're going to do our math, it's about 1.6 million.
So ano nga
Around-
po yung gusto nyong illegalize? What kind of, yung tinatanong ko kanina,
The
yung
bill.
oil,
The
yung
bill
oil
itself,
or the
where
Yeah,
it
it's,
has-
medical
Oo.
cannabis is already in finished product.
Okay.
Meaning it's already in the form of oil, tincture, balm, suppository,
Topical,
capsule,
ganyan.
topical patch. It's already medicine. So it's not in raw form.
Right.
So we will not be in any way roaming around Metro Manila with our joints. And
So hindi siya for
Yeah, no,
recreational?
not at all.
Oh.
Not- not
Again,
at all.
let me clarify this bill. This bill called
After ni
House
Cong.
Bill 279. We completely disagree that this marijuana for recreational purposes will be used. No,
Okay.
no. That is impossible.
Doc.
Congressman, can
Oh.
I
Please,
add
please.
so
Go
that
ahead.
you can
Please.
perhaps
Please,
make,
'cause I'm open, ano?
make some amendments
Oo.
in the...
Yes, and I'm gonna use you as a resource person.
Please,
Para
Okay,
please.
go
magawa
ahead,
natin
Doc.
itong bill.
Kasi ang concern natin, 'di ba, the main program, the banner program of the president is drugs.
Anti-drugs,
of
yeah,
course.
illegal drugs.
And therefore, if it is right now licensed as a medical marijuana, you know naman that even if it is bawal in the Philippines, you can get it anywhere in the
Yeah.
black market. Now, let's say you use this for seizures or epilepsy or neuropathic pain or AIDS or glaucoma. How sure are we that the doctors will use that for that specific purpose? It can be abused, the prescription
Right.
can be bought. So, even one drug which is right now present, yung Cytotec or Misoprostol, it was banned by Pfizer and Searle in 2004. You can buy it in Quiapo for as an abortifacient, but it is used as a cervical dilatation para umanak ka. But it's bawal, but you can get that. So, ang concern, and then our regulatory environment right now is not as rigid, Congressman, as compared with Canada and US.
And I agree, Doctor. I'll cut,
Okay.
if you
Sir,
remind me
wait
to-
lang. Before you
ang,
answer,
ang
sir.
concern ko lang kay
Okay.
Congressman is that perhaps you can provide certain provisions
Safety
or
nets
amendments,
and- Yes.
safety
Talk
measures.
about that.
Kasi ang concern mo naman ng mga doktor, kasi alam mo naman natin dynamic
Yes,
nagbabago.
Tama.
Later on, mapatunayan yan.
Doc,
Oh.
papasagutin natin si Kong
sige,
after
ho.
the break, okay? And for those watching us, what do you think about our topic this week? Join the discussion. We're live on Facebook. You can comment on your stand or questions about the issue, and we'll read them within the show. Keep it here on CNN Philippines. You're on the record on CNN Philippines. Okay, Kong, kasi mismong si President Duterte, he was for medical marijuana before. And then itong March lang, he said something na ayoko nang illegalize, pwede mong gawing excuse, magtatanim ka lang ng planta mo, sasabihin mo medicinal. Yun din yung sinasabi ni Doc kanina na we can, Filipinos can get illegal drugs. And anong safety measures? What can you assure us na hindi ma-abuse?
We have here in this bill is that the DOH and the FDA themselves are the principal regulatory agencies. PIDEA is involved in this and shall maintain its registry and qualified cannabis doctors and caregivers. Meaning, hindi lahat ho ng doktor
Pwedeng
ang
magbigay.
pwedeng magbigay ng lisensya. The same way, morphine and others, yung ibang mga doktor na first levels, hindi sila pwede mag-ano nito. Because if we are gonna be afraid of this, edi tanggalin na rin natin yung Demerol, Tylenol with codeine, Robitussin, at lahat yan. Yan, highly prescriptive drugs yan na are monitored. Pero we're going a step further. We're asking the DOH and FDA, pati PIDEA, to make sure that the cannabis doctors that we will give permission to give recetas for this will be monitored, and their patients. Doc Tony. And then we have also plant monitoring. Yung plant monitoring later on na yan, we actually don't want to process it first here because we still, will be in an infant stage. Kaya meron pa hon last. Yung Joint Congressional Oversight Committees within the Senate and the House shall make sure, ng parang Joint Power Commission, shall make sure that all these 4 lang naman ang gusto natin itayo na initial centers will make sure that all these patients and doctors come there. And, kadagdagan ko pa, that's why I'm inviting Dr. Tony there. Ang gusto ko, mas malakas ang pataw dun sa doktor.
Penalties, yeah.
Yes. Nang ganon, yung doktor na nag-aabuso ng reseta, makulong kung sakasakali.
May I suggest lang to Congressman Tony Pet? The first one is that it should actually be an S2 prescription, not the usual.
Ibig sabihin po nun,
Special.
You need special po, then tatlong prescription yun. Then you have to get an S2 number from PIDEA.
Yun.
Mahirap po yun kasi...
but that's in the bill, ano? I saw it. Yeah.
Then the other one, there must be a punitive measure. Alam niyo po yung issues of PhilHealth, kaya po marami nag-aabuso. Because in the charter kasi nila before, suspension lang and then kid blood treatment. In the UHC law,
penalty.
UHC law, for every violation ng case, 200,000 per case. And then you will be imprisoned from 6 months to 6 years
Yun.
under the revised penal code. Kung yung doktor mag-misprescribe. So itong UHC law is very powerful to reduce recidivism. Kaya nangyari po yun.
Kayo, ikaw, Doc, wala ba kayong fear na baka maabuso siya ng ibang members or ng ibang tao pa?
Actually, we have a lot of fears. That's why we highly support the medical marijuana bill. Because in the bill, it is
Medical
very...
cannabis,
Yeah, medical cannabis bill.
Yeah.
This is highly regulated. So the concerns of Dr. Diachon is actually addressed inside the bill. It is under the prescription of the physician, oncologist, or specialist. And we cannot just access it, for example, for my daughter. I cannot just go near the drugstore and buy it. No, because under this in this bill, it will only be bought under the supervision of the Department of Health.
And PIDEA.
Yes, PIDEA.
Ma'am, kasi like, yung sinasabi ko, gumawa ako ng report and interviewed yung father na may yung anak niya is undergoing cancer treatment. Pero pinakita niya sa akin, di ba yung usual, pag nagkikimo, mahina kumain,
Yes.
very weak. Pero they were giving the son cannabis oil. Tapos parang, hindi niya naramdaman yung ganong side effects. Sa inyo ba, for your daughter, ano bang nagiging effect sa kanya?
No, I'm not using it yet because it's highly illegal in the Philippines.
Okay.
But we have some of our members in our
Kasi black
advocacy.
market lang sila kumukuha sa
They
atin.
go to legal countries
Yeah.
like the United States. Only the rich are the ones doing it now.
So ano
Kawawa
bang
naman yung
difference niya
mahihirap.
if you compare it to the regular drugs,
We
the
have-
seizure drugs available?
Yes, we have a patient. Her name is Rhythm. She used to have around 300 to 400 seizures daily, and their family migrated to United States right now. And because of medical cannabis extract that she is using, the child right now has around 90% seizure free. So that I can share because it's legal in the United States. And she is an active member of our society, Philippine Cannabis Compassion
So
Society.
talagang malaki yung quality of life and even yung
Yes.
paggaling posible. Ado kayo.
Sobra.
Well, gusto ko lang linawin, no? Sa US kasi, recreational, pero only one indication for medical marijuana. That's 2 types of seizures. That's why hindi siya buong
Yun yung may
United
talagang
States.
pag-aaral.
Yung
Oo.
pag-aaral. So, my other suggestion for Congressman Tony Pet is for institutionalizing a research study to be conducted by the National Institute of Health or any DOH accredited so that habang ginagamit itong gamot na ito among the patients, kasama siya doon, and then to monitor the efficacy and safety. So, gagawa tayo ng surveillance study. We call it the
Right.
post-marketing
Right.
surveillance data. Na once na ito, i-register ka, and then, let's say, for 1 year, 2 years, titingnan mo, ay, effective pala, nawala. Nagkaroon ng side effects. kung dumami ang side effects over the benefits, doon na po pull out ang drug in the market.
Right.
So, dapat meron po tayong post-marketing surveillance study in order
For
to
those
search.
drugs.
Yes, ma'am. Kasi mahirap siyang pabayaan lang and then suddenly, magkaroon tayo ng side effects to the detriment of the drug.
Society,
sayang.
yeah,
The
the
society.
patient. This is actually in the bill. That's why I want to come out and talk to people and actually get them
Kasi may technical working ano pa naman group.
Andito yung aggravation na sinasabi natin that we will study the efficacy. And this has been studied for 50 years in the United States. We can already shortcut the process because to them, kung talaga masama yan, that's the United States, that's European communities, all of them are using this. If it's really that bad, then they will not legalize the medical use.
All right, we'll be back after a quick break. You're watching On the Record. Keep it here on CNN Philippines. You're watching On the Record on CNN Philippines. Kong, as with other laws, ang sinasabi kasi natin dito sa Pilipinas, hindi na-implement ng maayos, sasabihin ng mga tao, madali namang makalusot eh. So what's yung penalties natin sa bill?
That's what I'm saying, is that we will now put larger penalties for PIDEA, for FDA, for DOH officials, for doctors, and for abusers. Higher than the regular ones if Senator Soto would like. This will now safeguard the abuse of this. Kasi may mas mga highly addictive mga drugs and medicines that are opioid-informed. Morphine, for one. You know, but it's available there. As Dr. Tony nga was saying, ganun nga, kailangan mas malakang regular. Ito, sa cannabis lang. Sigurado po ito ang ating measures at penalties mas mataas kaysa sa regular ones.
Okay, since we're running out of time, final words. Ma'am, yung appeal nyo concerning this bill?
Okay. On behalf of the Philippine Cannabis Compassion Society, we would like to make an appeal to all our legislators in the House of Representatives and also in the Senate that it's high time to make it legalized in the country. We've been advocating for 5 years, and a lot of our patients died already, and we cannot afford to lose one more or two more in our advocacy group because each life is very, very, very vital and very precious. And we appeal on our President Rodrigo Duterte to please to make it and help it and pass a medical cannabis bill in the Congress.
Pag ganun ba, ma'am, anong mangyayari? You will be able to yung get na yung oil and then the other, parang anong pwedeng mangyayari? Gagawa ba, magba-manufacture ba tayo ng sarili nating gamot?
First, we will have to import it because
Okay.
we want to make sure that whatever component of THC at saka CBD, meron kasing calculation yan
Yeah.
depending on the illness. So we want to make sure that it's that. But it will go through the FDA so that we will check also. Baka naman galing China yung gamot or anything. So ang importante po dyan, dapat yung regulation yan in place. And it will legalize now and decriminalize. Yun ang importante, Ruth, na malaman. Pagbalik nung kunyari ng anak niya na may kasama ng oil, hindi siya i-jail. Can you imagine the agony of the parent and the patient? Just because they need that, they were prescribed in the United States. When they come back, makukulong pa sila, mafa-fight under the...
Okay, Doc, can you just highlight or stress ang
legal
main
laws.
points po ninyo?
Well, as a physician, I think the PMA and the other medical community leaders are actually open naman. And lahat naman ng medication would come from plants and folklore and then nag-evolve siya into a pharmaceutical product. The biggest concern lagi ng doktor is the safety than the efficacy. Kasi if the drug, kahit siya efficacious at nakakasakit din sa pasyente, hindi rin maganda. So therefore, I would perhaps support yung bill na to ni Congressman Tony Pet Albano, provided the safety measures are in place, provided that we answer also to respond to Senator Soto's concern, and then the FDA should be revitalized and strengthened. Kasi dun manggagaling ang power nito eh. Right. So, at the end of the day, I think we will benefit a lot of patients if these particular measures are actually in place.
Pero Doc, briefly lang, yung abusive part niya, pwede bang maiwasan yun na hindi magiging addictive, hindi
It's,
maabuso?
ang tawag doon, dose control studies eh. So, isa sa gagawin ni Congressman Tony Pet, aside from clinical trials of efficacy and safety, what is the dose that is actually be optimum to control the seizure. So, para hindi ka mag-abusive. So, may tinatawag yung therapeutic toxic ratio eh. Yung treatment at saka yung toxic ratio. Ano bang level niya?
Yung pwedeng payagan.
Exactly.
Oo.
So therefore, the pharmacologist will be on board. So there might be two parallel studies, one on the clinical trial side, and the other one is the pharmacologist. So that you'll be able to understand later on kung makakapsule ba siya or whatever, para ma-dispense mo siya adequately, hindi lang halaman
So,
or
hindi natin
oil.
pwedeng sundin yung existing na ngayon with other countries. We have to conduct our own.
Well, dynamic kasi po yun, ma'am eh. That's why hindi siya lumilipad in other countries kasi walang big pharmaceutical company that will actually create that particular compound. But, you know, kung right now, masusuportahan through a research coming, let's say, from DOH and the National Institute of Health or any organization na pwede nila, or FDA, may pondong ibibigay dito si Congressman Tony Pet together with the Congress, I think we can do that. And perhaps Philippines can be the leader right now. The rest of the world, ikaw ang
Because
magiging...
Thailand, meron na in Asia. They were
Exactly.
first in
So,
Asia.
unahan natin siya at a level in terms of safety.
Okay, Congressman.
Well, first of all, thank you, Dr. Tony. You're already saying that PMA is open to supporting this bill. This is a very big help for the likes of Julia and all other autistic patients and epileptic patients po, no? Malaki yung tulong ito dahil pagtulungan ho natin ito, I'm open to your suggestions. This bill has not been crafted into law. There are going to be amendments to it that we need. One amendment that I'd really particularly put here, Ruth, which is very, very important, is the tax compensation. Because in the United States,
tax yan.
ang laki ng nakukula. They're talking about $150 billion.
okay.
So, yan, pag may tax component, yan ang ipapasok natin sa FDA
Para
to
hindi
strengthen
basta-basta.
them. And DOH, para maging number one tayo dito sa cannabis.
Okay.
But my appeal lang, Ruth,
Okay.
I am not in any way defying the President's order. He always changes his mind, as you've said. But I'm actually appealing to his good heart, and he has a very, very good heart, that to be compassionate, to just listen to this first, and later on make a decision.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
please support po this bill.
Okay, thank you very much to our guest, Isabela Representative Tony Pet Albano, Dr. Donabel Trias Cunanan of the Philippine Cannabis Compassion Society, and Dr. Anthony Leachon, past president of the Philippine College of Physicians. That's On the Record. Thank you for watching. I'm Ruth Cabal.
Can I sign now your...